and then
Bill,
who's the conservative?
Martin Dugan,
Yes,
and Keefe, and I can't. His son would go on into politics. Why am I? Oh my gosh.
But that's how it was unveiled on Channel 9.
And Ray Hartman was the other.
Oh,
yes.
yeah. I wonder how, who came up with the idea? Let's put a bunch of local media people together and have them go at it on television.
It was Martin Dugan, the former editorial editor of the St. Louis Globe-Democrat.
Yeah. Did you ever get to know him?
Oh, yes. He was invited me to be on the show for the first time.
Oh, he was one.
Yes, and he invited me to be on the show basically because he was a print guy, lifelong print guy, and it was through my work at The American that I was first invited to be a guest on Donnybrook. I had no TV experience at that time whatsoever.
And Martin Dugan also did something with Ed McCauley.
Yes, and they had a relationship. They were very really good friends.
Close, yeah.
They were very close.
We did a story on Ed when he got Alzheimer's at the end, and he still could give a really good interview, but he talked about what that disease was doing to him. And then I remember going to Martin's house and interviewing him, and he said to me, he goes, "Would you like to think about being on Donnybrook?" And I said, "I don't think Channel 5 would let me." Yeah. So, hey, I want to ask you this. You've been a writer for almost your whole life, basically.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Where do you think, if you had to say, ideas come from, percentage-wise? Would it be an email, just something you are, wildly interested in? Or give me an idea on this, and then I got a little story.
Okay. I think now most of them, a lot of them come via email. And some of them are just this is a story we should cover. Some are more that you see something and somebody is going to be someplace, which is a story of interest to whatever your genre is. I'm not necessarily covering this event, but I'm covering this person at this event and their story. So emails play a large role in that. Obviously, it was originally telephone and those little pink message things so-and-so called and would like to talk to you about, and you returned all those calls, and that's where a lot of your story ideas came from.
Yeah.
And we also had beat, Frank, when you're covering beats and there's a person on every beat, there's always stories being generated just by being close to the individuals that are on the beat that you cover. So really that's where 75-80% of stories came from in daily newspapers. And that's what dramatically changed because people don't cover beats anymore.
Yeah, and I think those emails, that's a really good point. I mean, I still get maybe I probably get 4 or 5 a week about this idea. A lot of them don't work, but some, wow, this is unbelievable.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then yesterday at about 4 o'clock, I'm driving back from Orchard Farm to do a story on their football team, and I'm on Market Street, and I see this 6'7" slender African-American man, and he's walking on the street towards my car, and then I roll down my window and I yell, "Are you Harry Rogers?" And he goes, "Yeah." And he goes, "Are you Cusimano?" I go, "Yeah." And it was the great Harry Rogers, one of the best SLU basketball players of all time, and the first of his kind as a 6'7" guard. And so then I go, "We got to do a story on Where Are They Now on you." And so then I call him last night. We're like best friends. We talk for 45 minutes about PHL hoops, and we're going to shoot the story today at the downtown MAC.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. But he was a guy that I just grew up idolizing.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Very good. You recognized him.
Oh, yeah, you couldn't. I said, "Well, how much do you weigh now?" And he says, 175. I said, "What'd you weigh your senior year?" 175. And he went on to play for the Spirits, had a 20-point game, drafted by the Bucks, played in Europe, and a real St. Louis success story.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
Everybody's suggesting Mark Vittert. Is that who you're?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. We got 5 or 6. Mark Vittert. He was one of the people who started Donnybrook.
Yes. Yes. Mark Vittert was one of the originals.
And we are going to interview his son, Leland, at 11:05 today. He's got a new book out called Born Lucky, and he's going to be signing it at the St. Louis County Library. How about books for you? I should know this.
Say it again. I'm sorry.
How many books? Have you written a book yet?
I co-wrote one book with Rob Raines on the 1982 St. Louis Cardinals.
Okay.
Now, I have also written for some almanacs and some journals and things like that. So I've been part of anthologies. So I'm listed, but I'm named not on cover, put it that way.
So I was with Jacober, Dennis Dillon, and Dan O'Neill yesterday. We had them at Channel 5. We're doing a story on the worst year in the history of St. Louis sports, just like 78, 79. And they have all become authors and written some books, and they did not say it was a pleasant experience.
It was there are deadlines that you have to meet, but the way our book was kind of built, we just found every player and interviewed them. That was on.
How long after the 82 did
It was 20 years. It was this book came out right before Christmas in 2002. So I was working on it in like early 2002. Did some traveling. Interviewed George Hendrick when he was a minor league manager in.
Really, you went to go see George Hendrick
at Lake Elsinore, California.
Yeah, and this is, for people who don't know, it was a great right fielder who did not talk to the media.
Right.
But he did talk to you.
Oh, yeah. He was.
What did he say about why he didn't talk? He was burned once?
And he just said, there was nothing to say, and and he relayed the story about how Jack Buck would always ask him like once a month. He said, George, if you ever want to do an interview, and he said, Mr. Buck, that's okay. I'm just going to pass. Right. But his son.
At least he was polite.
Yeah. Oh, he was one of the most polite gentlemen
That's great.
in the world. And his son played basketball at Cal.
Yeah, that's right.
And was on the team. Now, you talk about your world, like a kid who played football, a friend of mine at KU named Darren Green. He was a Lawrence kid. All right. His son played on that Cal team. And that was the first, like, all of a sudden, you realize you're kind of getting old. But you say, a friend of mine in college, son. But George Henry's kid was on that team. They lost to Kansas, I think, I don't think it was a Sweet 16 game yet. I think it was a second round game.
That wasn't Jason Kidd Gonzalez.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, I got to ask you this. On Hendrick, is it true that after they won the World Series, he just got in his car and drove back that night and did not go to the parade?
All right. I do not know that. I don't know because I was at college. I don't know that he was not at the parade. My understanding was I thought he was at the parade and then left. I'm not sure because I was in college. I was in Lawrence when they won the World Series. Yeah.
All right, let's take a break.
I almost drove back for the parade, by the way.
Really?
I said, I'll miss one day of class and whatnot.
Yeah,
and well, back then it was something, no.
All right, let's take our first break. When we come back, the opening dialogue on the Frank and Jill show. Jill, by the way, will return to the program tomorrow. Say a prayer for her and her family, and we'll have the opening dialogue when we come back.
Have you seen all the 5-star reviews Michael's Baths has gotten on Google? How about their A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau? Everyone, including the nanny, raves about Michael's friendly office staff and their experienced installation team. With over 30 years of experience, all they do is bathrooms. They're not trying to be the biggest. They just want to be the best. Right now, get a free shower door or $500 off your bathroom remodel. Call Michael's Baths, 636-775-0800 or michaelsbaths.com.
Call the closer with Lauren Risley Realty.
First day on the market, we had multiple offers.
They're definitely on top of things, but we loved working with them. They made it so easy for us.
All you need to know about real estate and more.
I am Lauren Risley. I'm here with my right-hand man, Adam Bundren. Every Sunday at 1 o'clock, you'll be hearing from us a full 1-hour show on all things real estate.
Call the closer with Lauren Risley Realty every Sunday afternoon at 1. Powered by Homestead Financial Mortgage on the Big 550 KTRS.
Some of my fondest memories as a kid is heading down to the hardware store. You had to pick up a couple of nails, a couple of screws, maybe a gallon of paint, whatever it may be, right? It was your friendly neighborhood hardware store. Well, those don't exist anymore in St. Louis, except for Schnarr's Hardware. They have 2 locations in Webster Groves and in Clayton Road in Ladue. Schnarr's Hardware is that place where you go in and you can get that bucket of paint, you can get a couple screws. The advice is always free. And the one thing about Schnarr's Hardware that every single family hardware store used to have, and that is the smell. It smells like a hardware store. It's got the selection. I don't know how they do it. It's a small store, but they got everything you ever need. They got the paint. They got paint matching. They've got big green eggs. They've got screws and nails and everything a hardware store should have. Schnarr's Hardware, 2 locations, 1 great hardware store. Schnarr's Hardware, we'll see you there.
Feeling sluggish or just not quite yourself? It might be time to optimize your hormones. Heidi here for Premier U, the experts in helping men and women feel their absolute best. Premier U specializes in personalized hormone optimization to boost energy, improve mental clarity, and enhance overall wellness. Take charge of your health today. Visit premierumed.com and discover how hormone optimization can transform your life. 2 locations on both sides of the river with telemed options. Premier U, where better health begins.
Do you know why right now is the absolute best time to book your new patio or deck with my friends at Outdoor Living? Aside from being the best in town, these guys are really smart. They pay attention to market conditions, and they've stocked up on patio and deck supplies, including steel, all before these tariffs kicked in. So while their competitors' pricing has gone through the roof, prices have never been better at Outdoor Living. Now is the best time to call and book your summer job. Not to mention, these same competitors have sold out to large conglomerates and hedge funds. Pat Leahy and his team remain locally owned and operated, providing the best pricing and the best service in town. So, looking for a new deck or a new fence or anything outdoor? Outdoor Living, 314-966-DECK. That's 314-966-DECK. Or check them out online, Outdoor Living Inc., or check out their great showroom, Big Bend and I-44 in Kirkwood, OutdoorLivingInc.com.
Truck drivers, the holiday rush is here. Take advantage by becoming a Schneider driver. By driving for one of America's busiest carriers, you'll stay busy during the holiday season and throughout the new year. Plus, as a Schneider driver, you'll have access to top quality driver support and newer equipment spec'd with the latest safety and comfort features that drivers want. Don't wait. Get a jump on 2026 by exploring jobs in your area today at SchneiderJobs.com. That's SchneiderJobs.com.
A message from the master. If you are looking for that one-of-a-kind gift this year, come on in to Newsletter's Fine Jewelers. Let Richard draw your future present for somebody you love. This special engraving lasts a lifetime. At the corner of Big Ben and Doherty Ferry or at wowdiamonds.com.
Are you retired? Are you thinking about retiring? Who is helping you with retirement? Might be time to check out the show When Retirement Happens, hosted by Kevin Lloyd of Legacy Wealth Advisors. Saturday at 1, Sunday at noon on the Big 550 KTRS.
And now the opening dialogue with Frank and Jill on the Big 550 KTRS. Powered by Worldwide Technology Raceway.
All right, Alvin Reed in the house. Let's begin the opening dialogue. So, Alvin, thought one, something kind of light. Holidays coming up. The dilemma starts the older you get. When you're young, you have no options. You wake up Christmas or Thanksgiving and you know the drill. You're all together. Your house, maybe a cousin's house, you load up the Vista Cruiser station wagon and you either go or you stay home. You're all together. Then you get older and it's decision time. Do I go to the house of my significant other or stay with the immediate family? Or do you do both? Or do you alternate each year? So that's the issue that starts in the 25, I think, to 30 range, and it basically never leaves. I always thought just doing both is the good angle, that same day, because I like to eat a lot, have lunch and then dinner with the other family. What's the best way to handle it? We have two married. They have tough decisions to make. I'd like to think it's my magnetic personality is the reason they always come to our house, but I know it's not. It's all about my wife being a really good cook.
Well, there you go. Yeah, I never was in the conundrum because we always lived, until we moved back to St. Louis. We were never in the same place.
Oh, yeah.
And then just my family was here. Now, there were times where we did go to out to Kansas at Christmas time as opposed to coming back here. So we didn't have the choice of both, but we kind of alternated. I think most years, though, we probably ended up in St. Louis. Sometimes we would come to St. Louis for Christmas and then go to Manhattan for a few days and then come back through St. Louis and then head back to whatever newspaper I was at the time. But yes, in town, try to make them both. Let me tell you about my Christmas day when I was a kid. We get up, open presents at our house, okay? Then we went to my dad's sister's house in Florissant. They had my two first cousins, Chris and Jeff and their family, and we did Christmas there, and that's where we would eat dinner. We would then go from there to North St. Louis to some relatives on my mom's side and literally kind of do it twice, okay?
2 dinners in one night?
Or at least they had already eaten dinner, but there'd be food and desserts and, so be there. And then, get home, and we would probably get home about 9 o'clock or so and pick up playing with our new toys for a while. And it was a long Christmas day, but I remember them very well.
That's a great childhood.
Oh, man.
Nice.
I'm not going to lie to you, man. Like I said, all the angst in the world and all that's going on, I tell people that all the time. I said, no, I really didn't. Somehow or the other, it kind of worked out for me. Good. It was not just joy every day, don't get me wrong, but like Christmases and stuff like that. And my wife, same way, said we love Christmas because like our parents, like she just had her mom because her dad had passed away, but said like Christmas was special, and that's how I still feel about it.
All right, so which way do you go on this? 84126. Do you do both? Do you alternate each year, or just go? I'm going to go with the family that's got the better food.
Right.
You're up.
Great minds think alike. Got it written down right here. Where are you at on the Christmas is too early? Now, we roll right out of Halloween into Christmas decorations. It used to bother me more than it does. Did I change? Did the world change me? Why is it okay that like right outside the KTRS windows we've got in
right after Halloween?
Right.
But Connor the curmudgeon has some strong opinions.
Well,
on this.
it was like the day after, Alvin. This has been up. This isn't even new.
No, okay. Well, now they do it right after.
I know. It's the day after Halloween.
Right. Yeah. So that's when stores kind of flipped over. I will say, and I am not a big Black Friday person, but, Sam sent out like a mailer, and they had some things where this early Black Friday, which was last Friday, and we taped Friday with Derek Gould and all that. I left here and went to, like, Sam's and bought a new air fryer because I think, no real rush to get it, but it is really on super sale today, so I hit it up. So, no, it doesn't bother me. However, I do appreciate the Christmas season, and I don't necessarily think it's the Christmas season yet. I think Christmas season really begins Thanksgiving weekend.
Good. All right, what's next for you?
Okay. All right. Did you see the Aurora Borealis last night? Okay. I caught a couple of flashes of it, and this is one of those things that I thought I would never see in my life. I lived in Michigan for over 2 years, Frank. I never saw the Northern Lights. Now, just maybe it's cloudy all the time in Michigan. So I thought I would never see the Northern Lights. And now this is the second time, because if you remember, back maybe 2 springs ago, we had one night that they appeared. It was very red, like over Kirkwood. Last night I saw some like little green blended in too.
Wow.
So that was like I say, twice in my life now I've seen the Northern Lights, and I never thought that that would occur.
Thoughts on Northern Lights, 84126. And Eli Drinkwitz even sent out a tweet, and it had many Mizzou football fans worried. It means that, I'm going to Penn State.
Oh,
please.
Well, he thinks a lot of himself.
Yeah. I thought, too, working on a TV story, and we have a lot of great dynasty families in our midst. Like in food, the Mono family, the Giovanni family, the Minios family, they're all related, okay? All the Carr families, Bomarito, Fuse, Londoff. And in soccer, there's something really amazing going on in our area. Jeff DiMaria is the father, All-American, great indoor player, played on the national team. He has a daughter, Maddie Alvin, who's the best high school player in America. She was the best high school player in America as a freshman. She's committed to North Carolina, and I understand she's made some pretty good NIL money. Her little brother is a freshman at SLU. He's regarded as one of the best players in his class in the country at St. Louis U High, okay? He has an older brother at SLU who just made the all-rookie team in the Atlantic 10. And then there's another sister who will be playing college in the area next year. I mean, it's absolutely amazing, this kind of talent in one family. So the topic, more dynasty families in St. Louis in their fields. Like, how about the people who come after us? Jack Carney may have been the best talk show host ever, and now John, who's a superstar here at KTRS. Julie Buck, Joe Buck, Jack Buck. I mean, we are loaded with dynasty families, and I'll open it up to the text lines, 84126. What's another one in the St. Louis area?
Well, I'll tell you what. Now, this is kind of like from like living around a lot. We're not unique to that.
Really?
Cincinnati's got their dynasties.
Yeah.
The DeWitts being one, as a matter of fact. And that's a little more commonplace. I think it's of our nature because we're here.
Yeah.
And I think I use Cincinnati for one because I was an intern there. I was there for 3 months, and it was amazing how much Cincinnati reminded me of St. Louis. Not only in topography, geography, but like family stuff and businesses and things like that. So we may have more, but we're not unique. Let's put it that way.
All right. Next for you.
Okay. Now I mentioned the Aurora Borealis, okay? But I'll tell you what, and I saw it once again. St. Louis kind of had something going on in the 60s that no place in the world was, and that was we were an integral part of the space program, the Mercury. There's no Apollo without Mercury, which means without Mercury, we're not walking around on the moon. A lot of that technology, a lot of the people that worked on that not only were in St. Louis at the time, but remain in St. Louis. Where are they? Why don't we champion these people? Why shouldn't we be like Mercury America and have rockets and have all that? It was UCF, near where Cape Kennedy is. Houston beat them in football, and Houston kind of sent out like a quirky, like one of those online things, so like we're the real space capital of the world or whatever. And it always reminds me that we just did not fulfill our legacy of we should have always kept up front to the world that without us, without St. Louisans, space program doesn't happen the way it was. I forget which one James Bond film is in it, but it's the one from the 60s, and it's about space program and the one where they're capturing each other's rockets and carrying on. But anyway, a couple of scenes is actual footage, and the guys have McDonnell Douglas all over their white shirts wherever they're at down, at Florida at that time. And I've always thought we just should have made a big deal about that. When you come to St. Louis, you see rockets and you see Mercury and you see we were part of a space program that did something that no other nation has ever done. I wish maybe it's not too late.
We really don't tout that enough.
Right, exactly.
Or not enough people know.
Right. And just think about how riveted we were as kids every time there was an Apollo mission. Yeah. So, I still think we should try to do something with that. It's not too late.
All right, good stuff.
You can finance that, Frank.
Okay, a couple of quick ones for Thought 3. I got a text last night from a friend commenting on a series I've recommended, and the text went like this: "The Last Frontier has taken over my life." I think that's pretty good.
Okay.
You've been involved in series, I'm sure, where you just can't wait for the next episode to come out.
Well, Frank, remember, we had to either change your plan or get home, or finally they invented the VCR, so we could, record things. Because if you wanted to see your favorite program until you got your first in-home VCR, you had to physically be there or wait until the summer maybe to see the rerun. Yeah. It was amazing.
You remember your first VCR, don't you?
Oh, I bought it at Sears in Champaign. This is when we lived in Danville.
What do you think it cost, by the way?
My gosh. Oh, man.
$700?
It wasn't that much, but it was kind of up there. I can even remember the first thing I ever recorded on a VCR, Frank.
What is it, Dallas?
Nope. It was Sledgehammer by Peter Gabriel.
Oh, my God.
Because I said, what am I going to tape? And I turned, MTV on. And it was just literally, I think it was seconds from starting. I think that whoever the host was said, coming back, whatever. And I said, okay. So I had it all set. And the opening second of it, I hit record.
Yeah.
And then I went back and looked at it, and I said, this is a new age.
Wow. Now, nobody has you can't play a VHS tape, and you can't even play a disc.
You can't play a disc.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's crazy. Yeah, we have a, not bragging or complaining, but we have a Range Rover, smaller one. But anyway, they don't even have CD player anymore.
Wow.
They just take you no, you got to use your Bluetooth or your phone or your this or your that. The whole idea of having a CD player.
Somebody told me, you can confirm it, of some of our listeners, I'm sure, that BMW makes a car now, then they don't put AM radio in it.
I've heard that too.
What a stupid thing.
Well, because most people have, you can
get it on the
satellite. Yeah. You can even find it or program it or something like that.
Yeah, you get it on the app.
Yes, exactly. I get it.
Listen, when you listen to KMOX, you don't go to the FM side, do you?
No, I never have. Yeah. I still have it.
At 11:20, that's what I do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And finally, one quick one. We're the home of Mizzou, but a shout out to Illinois fans. They beat Texas Tech last night, who has a $20 million basketball budget for their roster. Illinois has players from 6 different countries on that team, and they've probably spent $20 million too. But I watched them last night. They are long, lean, sophisticated. They're really good.
And they were down 8.
Yeah.
They had to kind of get it together. And
Stojakovic's son, Peja's son, Andre, is a really good player.
Yeah. And like I said, they're very international.
Yeah.
We got a little like a mini Olympic team put together. So
all right, last one for you.
Oh, I was going to say, did you see anything about the squirrels, like the squirrels, the Post had a story. The squirrels are like having like 3 broods because the weather has, kind of, I don't want to blame climate change, but like people are bringing in whole families of baby squirrels and leaving them off, and they nurture them and
Really?
put them back out into nature. And there are very few stories that I actually read the comments on in the Post, but I read these. And some people are just like squirrel haters, and some people are like, leave the squirrels alone. Okay, so where you at on squirrels, man?
How do you hate a squirrel?
That's how I feel about it.
Now,
right.
Raccoons, what's the animal that kind of wants to eat small dogs? Is it a raccoon?
Well, raccoons could
They
be.
kinda hiss at you?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But they're kind of like the ones that are around us. Like if you come upon a raccoon, like in suburbia, he's, like they're wary, they're trash eaters and all that.
Yeah, I think they run away. I think you're thinking of like coyotes.
Yeah, now coyotes will eat your dog.
They'll eat the dog.
Right.
Yeah.
But there are not too many of them around here. But yeah, I've never
they
been.
Are if you go a little bit.
You can
out.
see one.
Not even that
we
far.
had a little squirrel. Not squirrel. We had a little coyote posse living around us for a while in Kirkwood. Ever said, hey, you see one of them? I said, one morning I saw one walking down the street. I was taking the trash out. Like, okay, they are around. Haven't seen one in a while. But no, I'm not. I mean, squirrels don't bother me. Golly, they run around and they just are there. It's wildlife.
All right, let's break now. When we come back, Sarah Fensky from St. Louis Magazine is next.
Hey, it's Jill Farmer for Altair Travel and Cruises. Our friends at Altair are the best in the business when it comes to helping you have a dream vacation, whether that's going to be that giant, once-in-a-lifetime trip around the world, or you just want to go visit a state you've never been to before for a nice long weekend. Wherever your travel dreams take you, our friends at Altair Travel and Cruises can make it happen. They have wonderful group trips where you get to take a friend along or a spouse and then make some new friends and learn new things and go to all kinds of European countries, all kinds of destinations. Or if you want to plan a trip just for you on your own, for you and your spouse, you and your family for a family reunion or to mark an important milestone, Altair Travel and Cruises is the place to go. They have the best ideas, the best contacts, and the best experience. They've been doing this for 46 years. 314-968-9600 or altairtravel.com.
Some of my fondest memories as a kid is heading down to the hardware store. You had to pick up a couple of nails, a couple of screws, maybe a gallon of paint, whatever it may be, right? It was your friendly neighborhood hardware store. Well, those don't exist anymore in St. Louis, except for Schnarr's Hardware. They have 2 locations in Webster Groves and in Clayton Road in Ladue. Schnarr's Hardware is that place where you go in and you can get that bucket of paint, you can get a couple of screws. The advice is always free. And the one thing about Schnarr's Hardware that every single family hardware store used to have, and that is the smell. It smells like a hardware store. It's got the selection. I don't know how they do it. It's a small store, but they got everything you ever need. They got the paint. They got paint matching. They've got big green eggs. They've got screws and nails and everything a hardware store should have. Schnarr's Hardware. 2 locations, 1 great hardware store. Schnarr's Hardware. We'll see you there.
Hey, it's Heidi, and you've been hearing me talking about my friends at Dalco Home Remodeling. They're locally owned and family operated and have been installing the very best windows and doors in town for the past 50 years. Well, right now is the absolute best time to save on windows at Dalco. For a very limited time, you can earn a $600 tax credit on new windows, plus up to an additional $600 from Dalco on Elite Series windows with 0% financing for 18 months. That's up to $1,200 in credits for new energy-efficient windows from Dalco. This limited-time offer ends November 15th, so don't wait. Give them a call today at 314-298-7300 to get up to $1,200 in credits for new energy-efficient windows from Dalco. That's 314-298-7300 or online at DalcoHomeRemodeling.com. As they've always said, if you buy somewhere else and find out how much you could have saved at Dalco, you'll blow your stack. 314-298-7300. St. Louis County Library and the Novel Neighbor Bookstore are thrilled to host the 4th annual St. Louis Area Book Festival celebrating teen readers. The St. Louis Teen Book Festival will take place on Saturday, December 6th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at the Clark Family Branch in Ladue. The event is free and open to all readers. The festival features book talks, author signings, and meet and greet opportunities with 20 of the hottest young adult authors in a variety of genres. You can find more details at slcl.org/teen-book-festival.
November 11th, 1918. Armistice Day, the day World War I ended. Since 1954, we've remembered that historic event as Veterans Day. At KTRS, we hope you never forget the true purpose of Veterans Day, to remember those brave men and women who protected our freedom by giving up some of their own and sometimes more.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I say your name. Do you solemnly swear?
We celebrate Veterans Day on the anniversary of the armistice that ended World War I. They gave up everything for our country, for us.
The energy, the faith, the devotion will light our country and all who serve it.
Let us continue to stand for the ideals for which they lived and died.
KTRS Honors, proudly supported by Royal Banks of Missouri, SAPON, Truck Centers Incorporated, Bartolino's Hospitality Group, Prestige Pools and Spas.
All right, it's almost like a mini Donnybrook here. We have Alvin Reed in studio and Sarah Fensky from St. Louis Magazine on the phone. Sarah, be honest, how heated does it get with Alvin and you? You guys really go at it hard, correct?
I feel like Alvin and I have been kind of on the same side on some things lately. But, when Alvin is there being the provocateur, all bets are off. Alvin is just coming at me hard.
So there's a lot to discuss today, and I think one of the most interesting things in St. Louis Magazine is about this Washington University professor sued the person behind an anonymous Instagram account claiming they falsely accused him of sexually harassing students. Elaborate, please.
Yeah, this is a pretty interesting case, and we are the first, and I believe at this point only, people to report on what has happened, which is he sued this anonymous Instagram account, basically sued Meta, which owns Instagram, to say, you need to unmask who's behind this. This defamed me. And on the very same day that he got a judge's order that said, yep, he's entitled to get some information about who's behind this account, that very same day, the St. Louis County prosecutor brought criminal charges against him. Now, they're misdemeanors. And if you look at what he's actually accused of doing, I don't know that it's what any of us would think of as sexual assault, but these are nevertheless pretty serious charges coming out of a criminal court. I think this is going to complicate this civil lawsuit.
Yeah, is it like he referred to students using romantic words? Is that what it is?
Yeah, and mainly touching them, and not touching in a way that
rubbing their back.
My generation would. Yeah, he wasn't like grabbing their private areas. He was touching their back. He touched their upper thigh. I guess I get where these students are coming from. I don't want a professor touching my upper thigh. I've never thought of, oh, wow, that's actually assault. I guess if it's unwanted, it is assault. It's a misdemeanor. So
I don't know, Sarah. My daughter come home and and said, yeah, my professor touched me on my thigh. I mean, he's going to have a bigger problem than me suing him. I'm going to punch him in his face, for one. No, this is... No, you can't be touching.
I'm a person who went to college in the 90s, and I feel like a lot of things happened to young women in the 90s that have made us all bitter and angry. And it's good that the younger generation is standing up and saying you don't get to do that. It is somewhat interesting to me that it's criminal. I could see a civil lawsuit over this, but I guess it is criminal when you're in that position of power.
I think so. Yes, I do. And maybe I wouldn't have thought that when I was in college, since you're making such a distinction of when people went to college, late 70s and early 80s. But nonetheless, that's inappropriate to a point that I think you should face a misdemeanor. No, don't touch anyone. It's unnecessary. I mean,
well, you would think now in 2025, you would have the good sense. You can't touch another human being.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no. I mean, certainly, I feel like we're all keenly aware. We're going to go way out of our way not to ever even touch a colleague on the wrist. Like, you just can't touch people. So the attorney for this WashU professor, he told my colleague Ryan Kroll, he said this guy has a teaching style that's akin to like a baseball or a golf coach. So he would help students draw complex molecules by sort of guiding the marker in their hand. He said, no, he was not touching their thigh, but he did touch their hand. I don't know. Is that misdemeanor assault?
It's
Yeah,
unnecessary. That's unnecessary. I mean, now, all right. If I'm going to show you, when you line up, you're covering the best receiver. Listen, I need you to do this and shift your hips here and whatnot. And I direct a football player or something like that. Is it different? Yes. In a classroom, no.
And then male, female too.
Yes, yes. And I'm being sexist in that I'm saying, like, now, wait, you're the male in a position of power, and this is a young lady who's, trying to get a good grade, trying to aspire to do great things, and just it's unnecessary. And I'm sorry, I am not saying that this man is guilty, but right now I am saying, like, what was on your mind, dude? Because I am questioning you, and I'm questioning what you were thinking when you felt like you had to be doing this with some young lady in college. I really do. Maybe this is the dad just jumping out in me. I don't know. Father, 2 daughters, but no.
I think, the St. Louis County prosecutor, Melissa Price Smith, I think she had a similar reaction that even if this is just a misdemeanor, this guy needs to be put on notice, and that's a way to do it. So, they're gonna have to prove their case in the court of law. He's got a lawyer, I think, who's known as a pretty good lawyer. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens with this one, because even a misdemeanor conviction, if you're a university professor, you're trying to teach at a place like Wash U, it's over. You can't do that.
My guess is probably, I don't know that Washington University, let's say he comes out of this, not guilty, but I think his teaching days at Washington University are over. I think
at Wash U, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think the only question for this guy is whether he can then land on his feet somewhere else. But yeah, Wash U, that's done.
Well, didn't our former president catch a lot of heat, President Joe Biden, for his touching of young girls? It wasn't in a sexual way, but it was like the sniffing of their hair and stuff. And
I'm not when was this? I'm sorry that I haven't
seen all the video of that.
No, okay. When was I have it? But I told you.
That's absolutely right. And again, I'm going to take it back to the 90s because I'm a middle-aged woman. I feel like back in the day, if someone was like putting their hand on your back or putting their arm around you as you stood on stage and even sniffing your hair, you were just supposed to deal with that. And today, I think people are like, I'm not dealing with this. Get your nose out of my hair.
And I'm not being naive or partisan here. I wasn't familiar with what you speak of.
There's reels of that.
Okay.
Yeah. And along these lines, we're really going off on a tangent here, but Sarah, how about this? What about like complimenting a person's appearance at work, whether it's male or female? Like if a producer said to me, "Boy, that's a great looking suit" or something like that, I wouldn't be offended. But in the work atmosphere, are you allowed to comment on someone's appearance now?
Well, this is a great question. I have 5 men that report to me, and I love to make comments on what they're wearing, mainly because they're journalists who frequently dress terribly. And so if they're ever like bothered to comb their hair and like put on a suit coat, I'm like, "Oh, you look amazing today. Like, what has happened? Are you going to meet with the president?" I sure hope that wouldn't get me in trouble. I think the difference would be if I were to say to them, "Hey, you look really good." That's different than saying, "Oh man, Ryan, I'm so glad you actually bothered to like wear a sport coat today." Right? Isn't that a difference?
It is, but this is why times have changed in that it's like, "Oh, dude, the things that you said that were not inappropriate whatsoever, you could not do." I would be guilty of that because at newspapers, like I say, somebody would like come in and a reporter or somebody might say, "It's like you're dialed up today. You got the whole makeup thing going. Like, you got lunch or what's going on?" And there would be something that they were doing, like maybe not say, "Look, no, after we're done, I'm going out to dinner with our parents," or something like that. But you would just throw it out there. I would never, ever, ever do that. The whole thing where I call it, sweetie and doll face and all that kind of stuff, like, whatever, like, nope, that don't fly no more. Couldn't say it, couldn't do it, would end up getting fired. So
well, Alvin, what if you called someone a Patty Hearst lookalike? Would you get in trouble for that?
It was Halloween. And I was sitting there like,
story here?
I was at the beginning of the show to kind of do a plug for 9 PBS's documentary on Percy Green. I had on the same sunglasses that he wore like back in the 70s, 60s, and a black beret on. And I introduced the show as Percy Green. And as I was introducing the panelists, I was just basically coming up with like some little gyms to go with their
Little
names.
jabs.
And this was literally improv. And I just was thinking, like, as I got to Sarah, I said, like, she kind of looks like Patty Hearst. So along the 60s, 70s, activists,
Yes.
So I said, like, and Patty Hearst lookalike. So, and you said you're going to be Patty Hearst next year for Halloween. Did you not?
I did say that. So yeah, not calling you out for being inappropriate, but
Yeah,
you're commenting
could be
on
taken-
my radical vibes.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, a couple other quick ones. Airport director retires. Your thoughts?
Boy, I think it's going to be big shoes to fill. I'm a big fan of Rhonda Hamnabrigi. She had great relationships with the airlines. She had a really good relationship with the business community that paid off. For the airport, I think it's going to be hard to find somebody who's going to be as good as she was, but I'm hopeful that for once we can make a good hire.
I agree. And while some people don't like the national searches, Bill McClellan, I think this is a job that a person would aspire to, and I think we could find somebody really, really great to pick up where she left off. With the thoughts of we are, redesigning the airport, and we got to modernize the airport, and like you say, it's going to be a big job, but it's a job that Rhonda already began, and I think that's helpful. I would hate to walk in the door and say, like, you're now in charge of the whole shebang of remodeling the airport. The money's there, the planning's there. Now, got to pull it off, but at least all the groundwork has been completed.
Yeah, and I think also in credit to Rhonda, she is giving a very long lead time for Kara Spencer to choose a replacement. She is not retiring until well into next year. I believe it's August 1st, and so they have time to get this one right.
Yeah, I know. I'd like to say I gave lead time. When I went into my semi-retirement phase, I told Dr. Suggs in the paper in March, and I was going to be done in May, and then hung on for another 3 months. Ain't I a nice person?
Hey, one more thing. We're going to go back to the original topic before I let you go. I think the most crazy example of this complimenting somebody at work is when Don Marsh on public radio had Karen Foss as a guest and said, "Boy, Karen, you just look great," and stuff. And Karen Foss was not offended at all. They're longtime friends. She never thought twice about it. But somebody that she worked with in the work atmosphere was offended by it, and it eventually cost Don Marsh's job. Now, that is nuts.
Well, I will say, I was Don Marsh's replacement at public radio. I had nothing to do with that, but I started like 6 months later after a national search. I'm joking. No national search for that job. But I think what got everybody's hackles up there is, he had been making similar comments to people who weren't comfortable about it. He had said it about Steve Stenger's assistant, who was just this young woman who was, like 25 years old in her first professional job. And Don Marsh says to Stenger about her, "I'd like to take her home with me." She later came
Oh, wait a
forward
minute. I didn't know that.
Oh, yes. And she came forward and said, "Yes, I did not appreciate that. I'm glad the producers stuck up for me." So I think that one came after some things where people were already on high alert, and I know that kind of got lost in the narrative that came out after that incident.
Okay. Boy, that's good insight. That's why we pay you the big bucks here, Sarah. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Alvin, it's always good to give you a hard time.
Yeah. It's Joe this week. You're not on this week, right?
It is not me.
Oh, too bad. I would have made fun of you.
All right, Sarah, we will talk next week. Thank you so much. This is the Frank and Jill Show on the Big 550 KTRS with Alvin Reed.
Hey, it's Jill Farmer for McKnight Place. McKnight Place Assisted Living, located, of course, on the Gatesworth campus at Del Mar and 170, one of the most highly regarded senior living communities in our area. And whether it's the Gatesworth or McKnight Place or Park Provence, one of the things you can know is that when you are asking questions about a loved one, about yourself, about somebody you care about in your life who may be ready to experience all the great things about senior living, you're dealing with a locally owned company. That's one of my favorite things about McKnight Place. Nationally recognized, but locally owned. So you're not dealing with some big corporate structure of somebody who's on one of the coasts when you have a question about whether your parent needs a special amenity or needs something in their care while they are staying at McKnight Place. And speaking of special amenities. There are so many. There are a wide array of learning opportunities, social events, connections to build community. All the utilities are included. A daily happy hour at 4 o'clock with appetizers, drinks, live entertainment is just an absolutely fantastic place to live, to thrive in this season of life. If you're ready to start the conversation and get a tour, go to McKnightPlace.com, 314-993-3333.
Hey, it's Julie Buck for Bishop's Post. It's that time of year again, so make sure to get your reservations at Bishop's Post for Christmas and New Year's Eve. They're filling up for holiday parties too, so get those reservations. Bishop's Post, located in Chesterfield at bishopspost.com.
Your dentures no longer fit? Maybe you're missing a tooth or several teeth. Visit Dr. Bowen for Simply Secure Dentures and Dental Implants. The cutting-edge, high-quality dental implants that replace all the teeth in your mouth, and it starts as low as $7,000, not the $35,000 that others charge. If you're only missing a few teeth, Dr. Bowen can permanently replace those with something you don't have to take in and out of your mouth. Learn more at simplysecuredentures.com and get the care you need and the teeth you want at Bowen Dental Care or simplysecuredentures.com.
Hi, it's Jill Farmer. This note came in on our text line recently on the Frank and Jill show. You need to know that Ryan Raphael helped me with my senior insurance plan. He was such a gentleman, so helpful, knowledgeable, and kind. I can't thank him enough, and I heard about him on KTRS. I love that text because Ryan Raphael is the Medicare man. He's absolutely the best person to call to help you through the often confusing process of finding the right Medicare plan for you. He loves helping people, walking them through the overwhelm of, I don't know how to choose the best plan for me, or I did choose a plan based on the recommendation of a well-meaning friend or family member, and now I don't think it's actually the right one for me. Ryan Raphael is the best at matching you with a plan that lets you keep your own physicians and keep your prescriptions. It's like having the highest quality consultant on your team. The best news, it's free to you. Under the law, his fees are paid by the insurance companies. Go to MedicareManSTL.com or call 314-368-6808. That's Ryan Raphael's cell phone number just for you.
Is it time to make a change with your bank? Hi, it's Julie Buck for Triad Bank. They are a full-service financial institution with 2 locations, and they've been around since 2005 with a mission to provide a wide range of commercial and personal banking services. Here's their website. It's triadbanking.com.
Between all the holiday parties,
Weekend tailgates,
and family get-togethers. Oh, they're here. Hey, who needs something to drink?
we've been overindulging a little more than usual. Thank goodness we both added active liver to our diets to give our livers some much needed support so we have the energy we need to enjoy the holidays.
Active Liver from New Nordic contains a powerful blend of turmeric, milk thistle, and globe artichoke extract designed to give your liver maximum protection and help it do vital jobs like removing toxins from alcohol, rich foods, and sweets.
Try Active Liver today and enjoy all the holiday treats with the peace of mind of knowing you're giving your liver some relief.
Find Active Liver online at Amazon, Vitacost.com, or iHerb.com. Or pick it up today at CVS, Meijer Grocery, or ShopRite. Enjoy life to the fullest with Active Liver.
All right, Alvin, I'm going to put you and Connor to the test.
Okay.
All right. I just looked at this. 30 years ago today, a famous building officially opened its doors in St. Louis. It was November 12th, 1995. I think you can both come up with it with your sports background.
1995, and I just moved back. Enterprise Center.
No?
Nope. Okay.
Close. Good. You're awfully warm.
So was it Chaffetz? Chaffetz
No.
Arena?
Not quite that old.
Okay.
Think about this.
All right.
1995. What big thing happened?
Oh,
with-
so the Dome.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
You know,
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking about that.
Right.
You know, the first couple of games, you remember, with Busch Stadium.
No,
it
the
was
first
so cool.
Wait, first four.
Yeah.
My wife and I went to all of them. We went to the first game in the Dome, and my wife, as my witness said, it's too dark. I don't like how loud it is. I really, really enjoyed the games much better at
And
Busch Stadium.
Your wife was right on.
Right,
and
exactly.
That's a perfect analysis.
Yes,
of it.
it was. And I said, like, she hit the nail on the head. And we were like not that we had gotten, it's an odd story, but I was at RCGA when I first moved back. I did the magazine, but we were kind of like somehow or the other got to be like the triage of corporate tickets. A lot of people came to our offices to pick up their tickets for whatever their corporate office was. And sometimes I went to all of the games. This time we were in what was considered at that time club seats, which was fine or whatever. So we had spectacular seat, but it was just so different than being outside at Busch Stadium. And to have experienced Busch Stadium as a kid and growing up, it was still a football place to me. But yeah, 95, it would have just opened.
Yeah. I went to every Cardinal game from age like 5 to maybe 18 with my dad on my left and my brother on my right, sat in section 362. And I enjoyed the heck out of that. And then you go to that dome, especially early on when it was dark and the sound system was terrible.
Yes.
But, however, when the team got great, we didn't seem to complain about that.
Oh,
We
no,
thought it
that
the
was
greatest atmosphere ever.
that was part of it was the home field advantage because they were scoring so much and the greatest show on turf, and it worked out because I think the Rams, if they had not got it together and become a great team, I think we would have seen a malaise in ticket sales a lot earlier because it just wasn't a fun place to go watch a football game.
Yep. All right, we'll take a short time out. When we come back, Leland Vittert will join us. The name of the book is Born Lucky.
Between all the holiday parties,
weekend tailgates,
and family get-togethers. Oh, they're here. Hey, who needs something to drink?
we've been overindulging a little more than usual. Thank goodness we both added active liver to our diets to give our livers some much-needed support so we have the energy we need to enjoy the holidays.
Active Liver from New Nordic contains a powerful blend of turmeric, milk thistle, and globe artichoke extract designed to give your liver maximum protection and help it do vital jobs like removing toxins from alcohol, rich foods, and sweets.
Try Active Liver today and enjoy all the holiday treats with the peace of mind of knowing you're giving your liver some relief.
Find Active Liver online at Amazon, Vitacost.com, or iHerb.com. Or pick it up today at CVS, Meijer Grocery, or ShopRite. Enjoy life to the fullest with Active Liver.
If it's soccer in St. Louis, it's talked about on the Soccer Voice in St. Louis.
The Big 550
KTRS.
St. Louis. From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franson. Democrats on the House committee investigating Jeffrey Epstein released a series of email excerpts that reference President Trump. In one April 2011 email, lawmakers say Epstein wrote to his now convicted accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell, 3 years after pleading guilty to sex crimes involving a minor, telling her, quote, "I want you to realize that the dog that hasn't barked is Trump." Epstein added that an alleged victim whose name was withheld by House Democrats, quote, "spent hours at my house with him." ABC's Jay O'Brien has more.
Now Republicans on the Oversight Committee, because these files were released by Democrats, say that that victim is prominent Epstein accuser Virginia Giuffre, who recently died of an apparent suicide. That is notable, Republicans say, because Giuffre never accused President Trump of any wrongdoing.
Republicans say Democrats cherry-picked emails. The GOP Oversight Committee has since released an additional 20,000 emails received from the Epstein estate. House lawmakers returning to Capitol Hill, preparing to take up a final vote on the Senate-passed funding bill to reopen the government. It comes as day 43 of the shutdown continues to impact furloughed workers and Americans who rely on food assistance SNAP. Here's ABC's Selena Wang.
We're expecting this vote tonight at around 7 to 8 p.m. It is expected to pass, but we are also looking at a very tight vote, just given the slim margins for Republicans in the House. And you've got literally right now lawmakers racing back to Washington to make it in time for this vote. You have some who are documenting on social media how they are driving hours across the country to avoid any of those potential flight delays.
ByHeart, the maker of infant formula linked to a multi-state botulism outbreak, has expanded its voluntary recall.
It can take a few days to weeks in order to start to become symptomatic.
That's pediatrician and doctor Natasha Burgett. 15 infants have been hospitalized across 12 states. You're listening to ABC News.
You've heard so many people talk about Innsbruck. Now it's time to see for yourself. 7,500 acres, 100-plus lakes, on-site restaurants, an 18-hole championship golf course for you to go play by yourself with some friends, or maybe even a charity event, nature trails, event spaces, and so much more. Innsbruck is 45 minutes from St. Louis. It's so close, and yet you feel so far away. Go see Innsbruck for yourself. Innsbruck-resort.com.
Wake up. Breakfast. And Nature Made vitamins. Whatever your morning sounds like, Nature Made fits right in. Whether you're looking for vitamin C or a multivitamin to get key nutrients, we've got you covered. Now that's a good morning. We take care of you so you can take on your day. Start your day with Nature Made, the #1 pharmacist-recommended vitamin and supplement brand. Based on a survey of pharmacists who recommend branded vitamins and supplements.
At Maryville University, we power dreams, not just degrees. For nearly 150 years, we've empowered graduates to build successful careers. At Maryville, expect a rigorous, technology-driven, mentor-inspired education in a diverse and inclusive learning environment. We help you take it to the next level, no matter what field you choose. Now is the time to turn your ambition into action and transform your dream into reality. Start your journey at maryville.edu.
This is KTRS News. I'm Sobe Bay. An hours-long police standoff in North St. Louis is over with the suspect taken into custody. Police say this all unfolded just before 1:30 this morning in Pontoon Beach when officers spotted a car parked on Horseshoe Lake Park Drive. Officers approached the car and noticed a firearm inside and asked the driver to exit the vehicle. That's when police say the driver took off, prompting a police chase. The pursuit ended in North St. Louis at Alcott and West Florissant, where the driver and a passenger barricaded themselves inside of the vehicle. Shots were fired inside of the car during the standoff. The suspect was taken into custody at just before 6 this morning. The female passenger was taken away in an ambulance. Missouri Governor Mike Kehoe is taking steps to phase out Missouri's income tax. The story from KTRS's Jill Enders.
Governor Mike Kehoe will unveil a plan to phase out Missouri's income tax. Kehoe said Tuesday he's laying the groundwork to ask Missouri voters to begin phasing out the state's individual income tax next year. Kehoe told the St. Louis Post-Dispatch his latest plan will be unveiled when lawmakers begin filing new legislation next month in anticipation of the start of the legislative session in January. Jill Enders, KTRS News.
St. Louis City has new members on its leadership team. Yesterday, Mayor Kara Spencer announced the appointment of 3 key members to the administration, along with the upcoming departure of Community Development Administration Executive Director Nahul Pfeffer. Spencer has appointed James Jackson to serve as Street Department Director, putting him in charge of the city's efforts to collect refuse, keep streets smooth and clear of snow, and manage the tow lot. Spencer also appointed Marvin Tier as Director of the Office of Violence Prevention. The mayor has also made another important addition to her own staff, appointing Colonel Brian Barquero as Deputy Chief Operating Officer. One of the largest storytelling festivals is now underway in St. Louis. Details from KTRS's Steve Potter.
The 46th Annual St. Louis Storytelling Festival kicked off on Monday and includes performances not only by local and regional storytellers, but featuring 9 who are nationally known. The free performances are taking place at a variety of venues, including the Missouri History Museum, the St. Louis Art Museum, and at St. Louis County Library branch locations. New this year, a performance by the St. Louis Story Stitchers, a group that works to connect at-risk youth with professional artists. The St. Louis Storytelling Festival runs through Sunday and also includes workshops on both writing and storytelling. This week's festival is the only one of its kind in the St. Louis region, and last year was attended by over 11,000 people. Steve Potter, KTRS News.
This KTRS Business Minute is brought to you by Walter Knoll Florists, the place for all your floral needs. Place your order anytime at WKF.com. Emerson has been named the lead donor for the Normandy Reimagined project, committing $7 million to transform the historic Normandy Golf Course into a hub for youth programming and community development. The facility will be renamed Normandy Golf Club at Emerson Park. The redevelopment will feature a Jack Nicklaus signature design public course and will expand opportunities for local youth through programs focused on STEM education, leadership development, and community engagement. And now let's take a look at the markets, brought to you by JBL Financial. Tune in to Straight Talk on Retirement, Saturday mornings from 9 to 11. Wall Street right now, Dow Jones is up 370 points to 48,298. S&P 500 is down 4 to 6,842. The NASDAQ down 131 to 23,337. KTRS Sports number 14 Illinois basketball topped number 11 Texas Tech in Champaign 81-77. Andrei Stojakovic led the way for the Illini with 23 points off the bench. Mizzou basketball takes on the Minnesota Golden Gophers tonight in Columbia. Pre-game coverage begins at 6:30 right here on the Big 550 KTRS. And KTRS weather today, sunny, high of 65. Tonight, partly cloudy, overnight low of 39. Tomorrow, mix of sun and clouds, high of 65. Right now, we have 61 degrees. The time is 11:08. I'm Sobe Bay, KTRS News, the talk of St. Louis.
Hey, it's John Carney. A lot of conversations with the folks over at Allen Roofing, pretty much asking advice, because I know a lot of people got smacked by that storm, and he had some great advice for people to think about. First off, be careful of who you talk to when you're going to get some work done. Make sure there's an agreement, and the scope of work is laid out in that contract. Also, as you can imagine, a lot of contractors are busy. Give them some time, and you know what? Allen Roofing will come put a tarp on your roof at no charge, even if you don't use them when you get the roof repaired. Also, check the Better Business Bureau, see what the reviews are for contractors that you deal with. And also remember, insurance companies allow up to an entire year from the date of loss to file a claim. So you've got time to get those repairs done and that replacement done. Don't rush it. Just a few tips from the people that know roofing and repairs better than anyone. It's Allen Roofing, online at aroofing.net.
And welcome back to the Frank and Jill Show. The great Alvin Reed is our host today. We're here till 12 o'clock. And right now we're going to welcome to the program a guy who's had a tremendous career. He is Leland Vittert, who went to Rowan Woods Community School and John Burroughs, studied journalism at Northwestern, worked in local news in Denver and Orlando. He covered Ukraine, Israel as a foreign correspondent for Fox News, and now he's with News Nation. And he has written a book. It's called Born Lucky. He's going to be signing it at the St. Louis County Library November 22nd. Leland, good to be with you. How are you?
Hey, great to be with you guys. Thank you. Yeah, be at the library, 7 p.m. On the 22nd, and then also at Hearth and Soul on Clayton Road at noon. If you forget any of this, bornlucky.com is where you'll find all the information.
So I was with some guys yesterday who've written books, and they talked about the torture they had to go through. And these are just guys that are writing sports books. How difficult was this for you to write a book that just displayed and just unveiled all of this emotion and all of this pain in your life?
Well, it's nice for you to ask. And for those who haven't heard of it, Born Lucky is the story of my father, Mark Vittert, raising me after a diagnosis of what we now know to be autism. So his goal was to adapt me to the world, not the world to me. And you're right that Born Lucky is the darkest, most difficult times of my life. It's why I was pulled out of community school, why I went to a number of different schools, on and on and on. And this is something my father never shared with anyone, never shared on Donnybrook, never shared in his columns, never talked about with anyone, including me, because he didn't want me to be defined by a diagnosis. So Born Lucky is really hope for every parent of every kid who's having a hard time. And we have heard now from well over 1,000 parents about how this has changed their perspective in their life about their kid who may be having a hard time. I heard from one parent whose child had a nut allergy, about how it changed their perspective. So I think this is why this has hit this nerve, is there's so many parents who feel alone right now, and Born Lucky is proof they're not.
Okay, so once you were away, or let me go back, because I'll start like at a young age, I knew that I wanted to do journalism. All right. So as you were growing up, that's one of those things that, you know, most of us think that you have to be an extrovert to be a pretty good journalist, especially on TV. It seems like, where did you get the confidence to do that in, you know, coming from where you were coming at that time?
It's a great question, because obviously if somebody has autism and has the social deficits that I had and probably still do have, television is not really a first thought. Part of the Born Lucky journey is coming with me to get diagnosed, right? And the woman takes me back at this medical office building. My parents are sitting there in a waiting room. We've all been there with the linoleum floors and the bad magazines and the stale coffee waiting for a couple of hours. And the woman comes back and says, look, he's got some terrible issues, bad behavioral issues, no play dates, no birthday parties. You know, if somebody touches him in line, he turns around and slugs them. Big sensory issues. If he has socks on that he doesn't like or a jacket or whatever, he melts down. And then also big learning disabilities. So they gave me an IQ test. IQ test is the average of the score of two halves of the test. A 20-point spread is a learning disability. I had a 70-point spread. So it was a pretty big issues. But that meant that I wasn't going to be good enough at math or science or anything like that to go to medical school. Couldn't be a lawyer because I couldn't write. And in journalism was something I found, my first internship was with Charlie Brennan. But I found at that point that it really yielded to hard work. And that is a big part of Born Lucky is my dad teaching me early on about work ethic and how that will change things. And how that's something you can really control. So that was probably the most important part there.
So as a child, as you mentioned, you were never invited to a birthday party or a play date. But I want to get into when you're an adult, like you were an intern at KTVI and someone put up a sign, interns are to be seen and not heard.
They did indeed. And I think a couple of those people may still be at KTVI.
And then at Fox News, Tucker Carlson and the son of Rupert Murdoch wrote now revealed emails really just blasting you. What was that like?
Well, consider the source. That's I'll let you guys think about that one for a second.
No, we get it.
No, we get it.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
But, look, my dad taught me at a very young age that the two things you can control are your character and your work ethic. And especially at Fox, it was clear that my character, that I took issue with Trump's claims that he won the 2020 election while I was on air. And that wasn't really appreciated. But Dad taught me long ago, you do the right thing because it's the right thing to do, not because of what it might get you or what it might not get you. So that really is, I think that's the culmination, right, of all of these things that Dad taught me. And, after that, I got invited to leave Fox News. I had almost died of COVID. I'd gotten out of a long-term relationship, so I was living on my parents' guest bedroom bed down in Florida in early 2021. And my dad was talking to me one night, and I was feeling particularly sorry for myself. And he says, I know you're feeling pretty bad for yourself because all you have in life is in that backpack that you've been traveling with for a couple of weeks now. I said, uh-huh. He says, when you were in 8th grade, a teacher in front of the entire class said to you, Vittert, if my dog was as ugly as you, I'd shave its bleep and make it walk backwards. And my dad said to me, he says, you went to school the next day in 8th grade. He goes, you got through that. You can get through this. And that's really the Born Lucky story, right? Is the story of perseverance, of not seeing yourself as a victim, and the power of what great parents can do. And parents aren't told that enough, especially fathers aren't told that enough, of how great parenting can really help. And that's why I think Born Lucky has gotten the reception it has. It's why we debuted on the New York Times bestseller list. It's why I've gotten all these emails, is because parents need to hear that message.
Okay. Do you look forward to being a parent in your life?
It is a great question. You got to read the book for the answer to that.
Okay.
So,
all right.
There you go. So go to bornlucky.com. It has the 2 stops in St. Louis next weekend. Would love to see folks sign books. And obviously you can get it on Amazon and stuff if you can't make it to either of those events. But bornlucky.com is the website. It's available on Amazon. And then we'll be at Hearth and Soul and the County Library next Saturday.
Yeah, and one final thought about your father. I think he's the hero in the story. And I know you had a great mom too, but give us a story. Give our listening audience a story about just how this affected him and how he would just not let this stop your growth as a person and as a broadcaster.
Well, that's an amazing story, and I think Dad really is the hero here. He doesn't like that moniker, and he won't give interviews or talk about it. So I get to talk about it for him. But, you know, I didn't know this until I was writing the book, because he didn't talk at all to me, obviously, as I was growing up about me having autism, or what the challenges were for him. But as I was interviewing my mom about the book, she told me that there were a lot of nights after I would talk to him all night and sort of take out my anger and my frustration and the difficulties of what was going on with me, he would walk down to our living room. I grew up on Price Road, and he would sit in the living room in the dark and start crying. And then my mom would, you know, see him at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, just sitting there in the living room. So I think that sort of explains what he was going through. You know, he left his, you know, his businesses, he left the Business Journal and everything else, and said, I'm going to just go take care of Lucky. Didn't tell people that, but that was the truth. So, the debt I owe him is really something obviously I can never repay. The reason I wrote the book now was to give him the understanding and to say thank you, and that he would have the understanding that I understood what he had given up and what he had done. It was also to help people, because Dad really didn't want to tell these stories. He didn't want to make this stuff public. And I said, all right, that's fine. So I would interview him about each story and say, do we really want to tell that? You know, do we really want to say about the teacher, the principal at Rowan Woods, or the principal at John Burroughs, who called us in 2 weeks into school and sat your mom and I down and told us everybody at this school thinks Lucky is really weird, and frankly, I do too. Those are some of the stories. And I said, you know, Dad, let me just write the book. So give me all the stories. I'm going to write the manuscript. If you don't like it, we won't turn it in. And I handed it to him. It was on a Wednesday. The book was due on a Friday. He read it. He said, I don't know. He said, I'm not sure. And I said, Dad, let's turn this around. If rather than telling you there was no hope when I was diagnosed, if that woman I think it was at St. John's, rather than saying, you know, there's nothing you can do for this kid, got to just meet him where he's at. Instead, she had handed you a copy of Born Lucky. How would you have felt? And he said, I would have read it every week, because it would have given me hope. So that's why we've done this, is to give hope to everybody else.
Leland, good stuff. We appreciate your time. We'll see you in St. Louis, November 22nd. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Have a good day, man.
All right, Leland Vittert. And I got to tell you, too, is that when I would see him on television, I had, you know, nobody really had an idea unless you knew the family. And you see this guy, he's a handsome guy, wonderful presentation skills, good reporter. You'd have no idea.
Mark invited us, the Donnybrook crew, and this was before I was on every week. And he invited all of us and our wives to their house. It would usually be about 2 weeks before Christmas for like a Christmas celebration, you know, just with the Donnybrook crew at his house on Price Road. And Lucky and his sister Liberty, they weren't like, you know, like the table waiters, but they took your coat and asked if you wanted a drink and things like that. I had no idea. I thought this was the perfect American family living on Price Road with, you know, like this multi-successful entrepreneur, and the kids are going to Burroughs, and I had zero idea. I had no idea until the book.
And for our audience, Mark Vittert is a founder of Donnybrook, St. Louis Business Journal, the Riverfront Times, Velvet Freeze, racquetball stuff. Just everything he's touched has turned to gold.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And he told us, like you said, they thought he was wacky when he came up with the Business Journal idea.
Wow.
You know?
It's kind of worked out.
Yeah, kind of.
All right, when we come back, we're going to have our song of the day. Alvin's going to give us his favorite song of all time, or his second favorite song. Maybe he gave us his first on Monday. And we're also going to have, as our soundbite of the day, it's somebody's birthday, and you're going to love some of the calls this birthday boy once made in his incredible career. We'll be right back.
Hey, it's Jill Farmer for Capital Advisory Group, and you know that Jeff Zufall and his team can really help you out if you're an individual who wants to make sure that you're not paying too much on your taxes. You keep what's yours, which is also, by the way, the name of the book that he has written, the best-selling book on the subject, and it's also the show that he hosts every single weekend along with our own Josh Gilbert here on KTRS, the Talk of St. Louis. But Jeff also is really good at helping small business owners. You know a small business owner. You may be a small business owner, and you know that it can get overwhelming. Maybe you have a bookkeeper who helps with taxes. But what you need is somebody who understands tax strategy, understands tax laws and understands where you may be able to take advantage of new tax laws to benefit your business and your business's bottom line. Reach out today to Jeff Zufall at capitaladvisorygrp.com or 636-394-5524.
St. Louis is home to more than 80,000 University of Missouri St. Louis alumni, where they drive the region's economy and contribute to its social and cultural well-being. At UMSOL, more is what moves us. Find your more at more.umsl.edu.
If you or anyone you care about is facing a family legal matter, call Cordell & Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on.
If you or anyone you care about is facing divorce, contact Cordell & Cordell today. With over 100,000 clients served, we understand the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Call Cordell & Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis.
From the same guys who brought you the watering bowl, say hello to the number 2 crew. The number 2 crew will visit your yard once a week in St. Louis City, St. Louis County, or St. Charles County, and they'll take care of your dog's business. Think of the number 2 crew as your yard's best friend. 314-717-8880 or the2crew.com. The number 2 crew, reporting for duty each and every week in your backyard. The number 2 crew or the2crew.com.
Royal Banks of Missouri is proudly reinvesting in its hometown of University City. Their new branch at 8550 Olive Boulevard is now open to serve you. Visit their team in University City to discover how they can help you refresh your finances and invest in your future today. Call 314-212-1500 or go to royalbanksofmo.com for more information. Royal Banks of Missouri, member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Tune in Mondays to the Frank and Jill Show for Success St. Louis Style as they feature a St. Louis in making a difference in our community. Brought to you by the St. Louis Chess Club.
Building champions in the classroom and the community. Online at stlouischessclub.org.
There's definitely a chill in the air, but it's always warm at Gingham's Restaurant in St. Charles. We feature great daily specials, some of the finest pies you've ever tasted, and is voted by the Post-Dispatch the #1 breakfast anywhere in St. Louis. And don't forget our soups. Quality home-style food and a friendly, casual atmosphere. Let Gingham's warm your heart this fall. Gingham's will be closed Thanksgiving Day so our employees can be with their families and friends. Happy Thanksgiving from Gingham's. 636-946-0266 or ginghamsrestaurant.com.
Don't wait for Black Friday. Beat the crowds. At Miller Furniture and Mattress, you get Black Friday savings all month long.
I'm Mark Miller, owner of Miller Furniture, your home for quality American-made furniture since 1927. Right now, save up to $2,000 on in-stock items.
Save on custom orders, too, with 60 months financing.
Check out our Black Friday doorbusters for every room in the house, like Flex Steel reclining sofas for just $19.99, and Amish-made tariff-free furniture that you won't find at any other store in the St. Louis area.
Right now, Chatham & Wells luxury mattresses are 25% off, or save up to $900 on select mattress sets from Tempur-Pedic and Stearns & Foster.
Visit any of our 4 showrooms in Belleville, Fairview Heights, Lake St. Louis, or Ellisville and save on over $8 million of inventory. Plus, custom Amish furniture in just 3 weeks? You can still have it in your home this holiday season.
Don't miss the Black Friday sale at Miller Furniture, now through December 2nd.
At Miller Furniture, we put the family in furniture.
The Bomarito Automotive Group is Missouri's #1 automotive group. They've sold over 1 million vehicles by giving you a better price, a better selection, and more for your trade. You can shop them online, see their entire inventory at bomarito.com.
Want a song?
You're on my mind like the song on the radio.
Want a quote? It's the song and quote of the day on the Frank and Jill Show. Right here on the Big 550, KTRS.
All right, Alvin Reed in the house. This show is flying, and since he's our guest, we allow him to pick one of his favorite songs for Song of the Day. Why don't you set it up and then ask Connor to play it?
Okay. I am a kid. I am just one of the biggest fans of this musician, this artist, this genius. And I will tell you the song that it's about to play, it is the one song that no matter what is going on, it puts a smile on my face. I'm suddenly 16, 17 years old again. The genius behind it is a man named George Clinton. And ladies and gentlemen, this is truly, I would have to say, my favorite song, Flashlight by Parliament.
I like it.
Took you back to the cement, didn't it, Frank?
Yeah, I like it. Tell me about George Clinton's career. What else did he do?
Yeah, actually was around James Brown back in the earliest days. The original band was called the Parliaments, and they were kind of more of a literally like a doo-wop and singing band, and restructured itself really in the late 60s, early 70s, released an album called Chocolate City. And then after that, then the whole funkadelic scene was created, and along with Bootsy's Rubber Band, and it was Parliament Funkadelic. And I saw he still tours. Saw him a year ago in the summer here in St. Louis, and just millions of people worldwide, especially in America, will tell you like George Clinton impacted my life in kind of an odd way, because it was not only music, but if you listen to the lyrics, it had a lot to say subtly. Yeah. I had a lot to say in very subtle fashion with great music.
Good selection.
And we loved to dance back then too.
Yes. Could you could dance?
Oh, I could dance.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Connor, can you?
Not really.
Not fast dance.
No.
All right. Because you had to dance. See, you remember this, Frank. There wasn't no dating apps and all that. Man. You had to go ask a girl to dance. Like you had to physically go across the floor and ask a girl to dance.
Yeah.
And
I'd rather take a charge. That was nerve-wracking.
Those are nerve-wracking,
Yeah.
right? Because you had to walk back and sit down and see if she said no, but it didn't happen to me too
And if
often.
she
I'm
said
not
yes,
bragging, right?
you had to dance. I
Then you
remember-
had to dance, and then you had to like tell your little story real quick while you were like, "Hey, I'm Alvin. Yeah, Kirkwood. Blah 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 blah." Yeah,
One girl actually said this to me at like the St. Joe's prom. Well, if you're not going to dance, just act like you're playing the guitar. Oh God.
Oh God, you were God.
Please. All right. So our soundbite of the day comes from a man who turned 81 today, one of the greatest broadcasters of all time. His name, Al Michaels. There's one. One more. Oh, you just get chills listening to all that. I got to tell you, of all the games I've ever watched at home, that is the loudest I've ever yelled. And that's saying a lot because it wasn't even a St. Louis event. But I love Kurt so much. And we were all thinking, oh my gosh, he's going to win a Super Bowl with Arizona.
That was literally it. It was like they're going to win the Super Bowl. He's going to win another Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It was amazing. It was, and obviously it didn't happen. But were you at the Super Bowl? Were you in Atlanta?
Oh,
okay, yeah, all right. Because I was up in the press box area. I don't know where you guys were, but you could tell that he wasn't in. But there was just this moment of, I'll be damned, the Rams won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
The journey is over. That whole year was just like incredible. So I remember that, but didn't hear the call because I was at the game. By the way, you experienced this more than I have. I tell people this, that like, if you took everybody who was from St. Louis that was in that dome that day, you're still talking literally, however many thousands of people, and that makes us kind of unique.
Oh my gosh! Yeah,
you
it's
ever
a good point.
thought about that? That this is a worldwide event. How many people that were really from St. Louis were in that dome? And it's a dome that 78,000.
Yeah.
Right. So it was kind of cool. Didn't hear that call.
Yeah, that's amazing. And then back to the Warner thing in Arizona. He was 31 for 43 for 377 yards. I think he's the greatest Super Bowl quarterback ever. I know he didn't win 4 like Montana, but I mean, he averaged almost 400 yards a game in his 3 Super Bowl performances, which is insane.
It was right, and lost 2 of them.
Yeah.
But very easily could have won all 3.
Just been the MVP.
Been the MVP of all 3.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then back to Michaels. I always was fascinated by his voice because it's mellifluous and it's rich, but it's high. And that's kind of a rare thing.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
And you kind of forget, I wish he wasn't doing football on Thursday nights, by the way.
Probably lost a little
he's
bit
not
of his fastball.
bad, but
not the
that's the Al Michaels that I remember, especially that hockey game. We had football practice that day, and where our old raggedy frat house was right out across the street from where the stadium. I walked from there over that afternoon, cold February afternoon. I'm upstairs looking at a little black and white TV by myself. The hockey game is on. I don't know if people remember this. It was on delay. All right. It was a little bit. The game had started before they actually started showing it. And they were not telling you the score or anything like that.
Yeah.
And there's, so I'm by myself. People start coming in, frat brothers, say, what you watch, man? I said, I'm watching a hockey game. By the time that game was over, there's like 11 black guys in this tiny room looking at this black and white TV, and you'd have thought that we grew up playing hockey. That was the loudest when Al Michaels was screaming, "Do you believe in miracles?" We're jumping up and down, just on sofas and just going crazy. Just because it was just such an epic moment. And I think that was the best call of a moment in sports that I've ever heard, just because it's almost like you had to be there to understand what had just taken place.
And I know, as you pointed out, he's catching a little bit of heat right now doing games at this age. But I will say this, at the zenith of his career, unlike others who were magnificent broadcasters, he didn't get a lot of the negativity.
I was just going to say that.
Joe Buck is awesome, but he catches heat. Costas is awesome, but he catches heat. Michaels is the one guy. I know there were some detractors, but it was just tough to find a flaw with him. I remember one game he was doing, it was the 86 Angels-Red Sox playoff game, that classic Dave Henderson home run off Donnie Moore. He had a couple of lines in that where he said, "If you're just tuning in, too bad." And another time when Reggie Jackson came to the plate, he said, "It's a moment made for the man, or is it the other way around?" I mean, he's just so smart, too.
Yes, exactly. I think his intelligence comes out in his broadcast. I think also that he literally does broadcast the game. He doesn't go too far from an individual. He'll have a comment or whatnot, but he is like old school where I kind of feel like, Al Michaels still tells you what the score is, and he never goes off on these tangents.
Yes.
And maybe it was good that at the time when you had to stop the broadcast because you had to have on whoever the latest popular TV show, and joining us in the booth is so-and-so and so. And like, I don't care for that stuff. Yeah. So he was before that. And I think that works in his favor because that works against anybody broadcasting right now.
And he was very confident, but you could tell he probably is not a horse's A.
Right.
Some of these guys, you find out, what a jerk. Right. Yeah. So like one time we did an interview with him at the Ritz. It was on a Sunday night for Sports Plus. And I remember this distinctly because it was the most thoughtful. He did such an unbelievable job. And so he gets on an elevator and with his producer, and Frank Viverito happened to be on the elevator too. And Frank tells me this afterwards, the producer, he says to the producer, he says, "Now that's how you conduct an interview." Talking about his own interview. And he was great, so I love him.
Yeah. And like I said, I don't think he's terrible now. I just kind of...
Well, you know what doesn't help? And I think
I know
Herb Street is great.
Yep.
I just don't like him on the NFL as much.
I don't like him on the NFL. I don't like the and I don't see a lot of it, but the pregame show's got 77 people talking all at the same time.
Oh,
and the
yeah.
whole thing is just it's so Amazonian. That man, I think you'd be fine if you were just doing the regular broadcast, but it's just so dog and ponyish that it's yeah.
Well, you know what the amazing thing about that Thursday night thing is that, well, wait a minute, you can't have a game on Thursday night. You already have one on Sunday and Monday. Well, then they have one on Thursday, and then they'll have one on Christmas Day. They'll have some on Friday, and then late in the season Saturday. It doesn't matter.
Well,
it's the NFL. You can have a game any day, and it'll still do well.
I really like Mike Florio does Pro Football Talk.
Oh my gosh, is he?
I love him.
He's so candid.
He's candid. But 5 years ago, he was one of the first ones that said, you all, I know it sounds crazy, but there's going to be games on all these different nights. He said, Thursday is probably coming. He said, remember the NFL didn't want any part of Black Friday and didn't want to play on Christmas Eve unless it was on a Sunday. And he said, nope, you watch. He said, they are the king, and they're going to do whatever they want to. College football, you may as well get ready because they're just going to play when they want to play.
Yeah.
And this was 5 years ago. And when did we start playing Thursday Night Football? About 3-4 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, he really had his finger on the pulse of that. So before we're done with it all, Frank, there's going to be a Tuesday Night Football game.
Remember, they were reluctant to do it on Christmas Day. No, that's the NBA day.
Right.
Oh, they put it, and then they just blew
them out. Right.
Out.
The NBA, what they can do is they start playing at 11 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And the Knicks play, and they get this huge East Coast audience. And then they finish the day in the West, and they usually have the Lakers playing. And so they get a bulge. When the Bulls were the great Bulls, that game, the Bulls played Sunday night, because Costas was telling the story about doing the Bulls on Christmas night. And so they always had that. But overall, as soon as the NFL said we're playing on Christmas Day, that was it.
Yeah. I'm trying to see what that whitewashing was. They just destroyed them. And the NFL has consistently dominated viewership on Christmas Day with the league's games getting 24 million to watch.
Yeah.
So
if you ever want to give yourself a cold sweat, look up the top 50 TV programs in a year.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, let me get this right.
Okay, according to this one, the NFL had 24 million, and the NBA had 2.5 million. So
yes, at any given time. Yeah.
All right, we'll take a short time out. Alvin Reed is in the house. This is the Frank and Jill Show on the Big 550 KTRS.
Hey, it's Jill Farmer for TB Exteriors, $500 off. How's that sound to you? Pretty darn good, I think. And that's what you get as a discount on a new replacement roof right now. All you have to do is say, hey, I'm a KTRS listener, and they will give you $500 off. That is a serious discount. One of the great things about TB Exteriors is they have a number of years of experience in working in the St. Louis metro area, but they're also really good at helping you with roofing insurance claims. Sometimes a roofer will come out, they'll give you an estimate, and then they kind of give you the shrug of the shoulders when you say, hey, I'm having trouble. My insurance company is sort of putting some roadblocks up here. Not at TB Exteriors. They really like priding themselves on helping you get that care you need to bridge the difference between sometimes the contractor and the insurance company. They service all Missouri locations within our listening area. You are a select shingle masters with certainty, which means that they are above the rest when it comes to the training they do for their employees, which allows you to have the highest level of warranty. $500 off if you mention KTRS for a full roof replacement at TB Exteriors. TBExteriorsMo.com, 636-362-9503.
Royal Banks of Missouri invites you to the 2025 Economic Forecast Breakfast, Tuesday, November 18th at the Factory in Chesterfield. Hear from local experts, Ron Amlin of St. Louis Small Business Monthly, Dr. William Emmons, retired economist, and many more on current market conditions and what lies ahead for the U.S. economy in 2026 and beyond. For more info and to RSVP, visit RoyalBanksofMo.com. Royal Banks of Missouri, member FDIC and equal housing lender.
You've heard so many people talk about Innsbruck. Now it's time to see for yourself. 7,500 acres, 100 plus lakes, on-site restaurants, an 18-hole championship golf course for you to go play by yourself with some friends, or maybe even a charity event, nature trails, event spaces, and so much more. Innsbrook is 45 minutes from St. Louis. It's so close, and yet you feel so far away. Go see Innsbrook for yourself. Innsbrook-resort.com.
Hi, it's Jill Farmer for Premier Heating and Cooling. Of course, the temperatures are getting a lot colder. I know that's just one of those things that you're like, yep, that's an obvious statement, Jill. But that also means that you want your furnace working at its best, because we know that we've been warned by the pundits who keep track of this stuff, that we're going to be paying a little bit more for our heating costs coming up this year. All the more reason that we want to have an efficient unit. And if you have a furnace that's just been limping along, not doing well, rather than wait until it breaks out of the worst time of the year, maybe have that conversation with our friends at Premier Heating and Cooling. Talk to them about what financing options are available. Have them help you understand what you may be able to save every single month on your heating bills if you go for a more efficient, newer unit. The time is now, before you get into a tricky situation later on, to reach out to premierheatingcooling.net and set up your appointment to have them look at your furnace today. 636-916-1122.
It's Julie Buck inviting you to join us for the annual Rusted Chandelier Open House. Come sip and shop and buy all the goodies to deck your halls at the Rusted Chandelier. They're located in Kirkwood at Manchester and Folger. You do not want to miss this store, especially during the holidays. Absolutely everything to decorate your home and get your cozy on this holiday season at the Rusted Chandelier.
Truck drivers, wherever you want to take your driving career in 2026, Schneider has an opportunity for you. Our huge selection of driving jobs means you can get the home time that suits your schedule. Choose from daily, weekly, monthly, or sometime in between. Plus, Schneider drivers can choose from dedicated, intermodal, dry van, and tanker options. Don't wait to upgrade your career before the new year. Search jobs and apply now at SchneiderJobs.com. That's SchneiderJobs.com.
Are you retired? Are you thinking about retiring? Who is helping you with retirement? Might be time to check out the show When Retirement Happens, hosted by Kevin Lloyd of Legacy Wealth Advisors. Saturday at 1, Sunday at noon on the Big 550 KTRS.
And welcome back. We really appreciate the people from Kuna being one of our sponsors. Tomorrow, we're going to have Frida's Del Mar. It's like one of the few restaurants I've ever been to that's like really, really healthy, and it's really, really tasty. You can see all these professional athletes there because they want to control everything that goes into their body, and it's a great place.
You played I'm Your Captain when we were coming back there. I love that song, but my daughters still laugh at me because it's like about 10 minutes long.
It's a long one.
It's a long one. And like, so, you know, at the end, I'm getting closer to my home. They still laugh about, like, you know, like, Dad, what was that song you used to play all the time we were in the car? You know, like, so when that came on, that makes me smile, too.
All right, this is not going to reveal too much, but tell me what your wife's first 3 digits of her phone number, and then I'll explain.
Oh, boy.
314, then what?
Mine is 609.
Okay, because there's a person texting in saying, Alvin is my dance partner. This is obviously not your wife, so I've exposed you. There's something going on here. Another one, make Alvin read a regular. I'm 100% in charge of that. I mean, I'm supportive of that, yes. We were talking about aging broadcasters, and I guess it was Connor who brought up Marv Albert because he was on last night.
Yeah, he kind of did like he kind of introed the games that were on last night. You know, kind of like the minute and a half, 2 minute little intro.
Yeah, boy, it's amazing that he was able to survive the scandal, and the scandal was accused of sexually assaulting a 42-year-old woman in 1997. She accused Albert of throwing her onto a bed, biting her, and then forcing her to perform oral sex in an argument. And then there was another woman testified that Albert had bitten her on 2 separate occasions when she did not respond to his sexual advances. I mean, this is a lot of stuff here.
Yeah, I'm going to say, we were talking about scandal and the other with the professor. Like, that's some real scandal there. But I guess late 90s, you could still have a career after something like that broke on you.
How about this? In an interview with Barbara Walters, Albert maintained that his accuser had requested he bite her. He also denied her accusation that she had requested to bring another man into their sexual affair. He described her recorded conversation with the police on that night as Academy Award winning. So,
well, there you go. Yeah, you know his catchphrase. Yes.
Yeah, you're right.
Whenever the Knicks made a basket.
And I think his most I guess his most famous stuff would be some of the NBA on TV. Yeah. Or the local call when Reed comes out of the locker room in 1970.
Yeah, right. Because we were talking about his age. It said, like, man, he was doing NBA basketball games in like 1970. Was pro, and so I was 10.
Yeah, and he obviously had lost it. I mean, his voice was really rough at the end. Connor said his voice was rough last night. A guy who I thought was really good till the end was Vin Scully.
Yeah,
at age 88.
I think
88.
That, and you know what I think? I think that's because he did the games by himself, and so he was always on his own pace and never had to be loud, never had to not overtalk anybody, but he never had to do the back and forth and all that. He just sat there and just did the baseball game, and I think that helped him with his longevity and keeping his voice and all that.
Yeah, the Kevin Costner baseball movie when he threw the perfect game or no hitter. What was that called? Oh gosh,
I know which one.
Well,
I think perfect was in the title, but
For Love of the Game.
For Love of the Game, yeah.
Well, Scully was on the broadcast for that movie. And I don't think they gave him a script. They just said, get in there
and just
talk.
Just go ahead and do it.
Yeah,
I could see that.
So.
Did you read that piece about Kevin Costner?
No.
That came out this week.
Oh, it was derogatory?
Yeah, how difficult he is to work with,
I've
how
heard
he's
that.
burned so many bridges in Hollywood and elsewhere.
Yeah, well, I heard that the whole that was
now no one wants to work with him.
Well, and that the whole thing, like I said, how did Yellowstone go from where it was to like not being? He said, like, people said, like, I'll starve before I like, okay. It was that bad an experience, and like people say, yeah, it was.
Sometimes, people leave series and they think, oh, I want to do bigger and better things. I want variety. And they should never leave.
They should never leave. My wife and I have this conversation. I've told her this, that she was like, boy, if we were ever on a show, I would be the one that said, like, hey, until the studio executives come in here and throw us out, I'm riding this horse. Because like I said, you started a show, Alvin, when you were 30 and was on for 22 years. And when you were done with it, you were 52 years old. All I'd be thinking to myself was, I don't have to do anything for the rest of my life. So why is it such a shame that, okay, so I never got to be James Bond. Okay, that's cool.
Like Steve Carell leaving The Office. Now, he did go on to make motion pictures.
But he did, but I get it. But you can do both.
Yeah. Chevy Chase leaving Saturday Night Live.
At that time, he probably
felt the show wasn't going to go places.
And he probably made considerable more money, at that time.
With some of those big movies.
Oh, yeah.
David Caruso, NYPD.
No, that was a mistake because, he thought he was going to be that. The woman who was in The X-Files, I forget her name.
Well, Gillian Anderson is who you're talking about.
Yes.
They both kind of left and came back a few times for that show.
Okay, well, I'm just saying when they left, they were all going to be, they were going to be all the rage, and it didn't quite, work out.
Right.
Yeah.
What about Charlie Sheen, leaving 2.5 Men, where that was like, he was making so much money and was such a hit show.
Well,
it's kind of a later career thing, right?
Yeah,
he probably
pretty much.
He probably didn't need to keep doing it if he didn't want to.
Well, it's a joke, right? Right. How much coke could Charlie Sheen do? Enough to kill 2.5 men.
That's brutal.
Yeah, that was brutal. Right. Yeah, but yes. And what Ashton Kutcher, replaced him, and it was not the same after that.
God,
it was terrible. But yeah, just let it go.
Did American Idol at its zenith? Did they lose somebody? Did somebody of that three, or did they? Because that was really
who was the first to go? Was it Simon? Who? I get my shows because I really didn't watch all those shows too closely. But was he the first to leave? And then it still went on, and he, went to do the show on NBC, and I don't know if they're still on or not.
Another bad one was Wayne Rogers when he left MASH.
Yeah.
He was so good.
Oh, my gosh. And do you remember the name of the series that he did after that?
No, I guess that speaks volumes.
It was
So no.
called Hello Larry, and it was on for half a season.
So not as memorable as MASH.
No, and they killed his character because they were mad at it. He said, okay, you gonna leave? Guess what? She ain't never coming back. So that's why they crashed him into the sea, or whatever happened to him. Yeah.
Two more quick ones. McLean Stevenson leaving MASH. That was brutal. And what about John Amos leaving Good Times?
Oh,
great.
He was great, but he did not like the JJ character and wanted it changed. He thought it was too demeaning and all that, and he held out and whatever. And that they axed him too in the car accident up working on the Alaska pipeline. They said, you ain't never coming back. So
We'll break. This is the Frank and Jill Show on the Big 550 KTRS.
Hey, it's Julie Buck for Bishop's Post. It's that time of year again, so make sure to get your reservations at Bishop's Post for Christmas and New Year's Eve. They're filling up for holiday parties too, so get those reservations. Bishop's Post, located in Chesterfield at bishopspost.com.
Mizzou football on the Big 550 KTRS is powered by Graybar.
High snap, good place, kick is up, and it is good.
This Saturday evening, your Mizzou Tigers host Mississippi State for a 6:45 kickoff. Pre-game begins at 4:45.
Catch all the action right here on the Big 550
KTRS.
Presented by Graybar for all your electrical and datacom solutions.
Scott, can you believe it's already been more than a decade since the Queen of Carpets sold flooring to St. Louis area contractors?
I know, but I don't have to be a king to offer contractors today's lowest prices.
Yes, contractors owe it to their customers and themselves to shop at Best Buy Flooring for the largest in-stock selection of carpet, carpet tile, sheet vinyl, laminate, hardwood, luxury vinyl plank, and luxury vinyl tile.
Plus 3 convenient locations, North County, South County, and Metro East.
Open 7 days a week.
Best flooring, best selection, Best Buy. Best Buy Flooring.
Hey, it's Julie Buck for our friends at Triad Bank. They are a full-service financial institution, and they've been in St. Louis for over 20 years with 2 locations, one at Clayton and Lindbergh, and the other one just west of 270 on Olive. If you've got your own business and you want to have a better banking experience, look no further than Triad Bank. Their mission is to provide a wide range of commercial and personal banking services to you and your business. For more, go to triadbanking.com.
I need a new vehicle, but I can't pay retail. Okay, what's my trade worth? You know what? I'm going to HW Kia, where I can get some straight talk.
Get to HW Kia in West County. All new 25 HW Kia Solar K4, just $19,999. Yes, a new Kia under $20,000 with any trade. And you'll get up to 120% over fair market value for any trade. Then drive your new HW Kia with 0 down, 0 payments until March, 0% on every clearly marked new HW Kia. Are you stuck in a loan or lease? Come see Big D the Trade Man and get released during the Kia Fall Savings Event at hwkia.com.
On approved credit, not all will qualify, plus tax title license and $587 title and registration processing fee. 22 or newer trade. Negative equity refinanced and new loan rebates and incentives to dealer. Not all will qualify through KMF. $13.89 per thousand borrow. Offers not in combination. Expires 11/30/25.
How would you like your vehicle serviced at your own home or office? Our new Mobile Service Plus, available exclusively from St. Paul Cadillac, can do just that. Hi, this is Joe Clemens. Simply give us a call or go to our website and get a unit dispatched right to your doorstep. This is a game changer for customer service, and we are so happy to offer it to you. Everything from oil changes, belts, new tires, tire rotation, recalls, key fobs, brake pads and rotors, EV charge, battery replacement, air conditioning service, and so much more. St. Paul's Mobile Service Plus will come to you. Call our mobile dispatch at 636-931-0055. That's 636-931-0055. Or go to our website at stpaulcadillac.com and set up an appointment. It's that simple. Get door-to-door service with St. Paul's new Mobile Service Plus. Nothing could be easier. Set up your appointment today. That's Mobile Service Plus, exclusively from St. Paul Cadillac at the Herculaneum Auto Mall Exit.
Mom, what do you always say? There's nothing sadder than jewelry that sits in a drawer.
That's why we are proud to offer jewelry repair on site at Newstetter's Fine Jewelry. We know that your jewelry is important to you, and we take that part of our job very seriously. Visit us at Doherty Ferry and Big Bend or learn more at wowdiamonds.com.
All right, the Carney Show with Julie Buck coming up very shortly. Alvin, what's on your agenda today?
Okay, tonight is bowling night, believe it or not. And, like I say, we're kind of, watching the dog as she recovers from
What
her
bowling
surgery. Shrewsbury Lanes.
Do they have good cheeseburgers?
I have not eaten the food, but people order food there. Bowling alley still
They
hold.
have good fine cheeseburgers.
They have good hamburgers and French
Yeah.
fries stuff. French fries look good.
Very nice.
I usually have eaten shortly before I get there, so but one day I'm probably going to eat something.
Gotcha.
Bowling alley food is usually pretty good.
All right. Well, we really enjoyed this couple of days with you this week. We are definitely going to do it again. The text lines love you. I can't tell you how much we appreciate it.
Oh, man, anytime.
All right. I will leave you with a quote. This is from Vin Scully from that movie For Love of the Game. And remember, the pitcher's name was Billy Chappell. The Cathedral of Baseball now belongs to a chapel. We'll take a break. We'll be back in 22 hours.
Imagine all the things you dream of under one roof. You're thinking of eBay. Fashion, collectibles, car parts, it's all there. Go find the